What up, YouTube? This is day 7 of our day 8 of our honeymoon, and we are in the beautiful Manarola. And this is one of the 5 towns of Cinque Terre, I'm pretty sure. And we rolled in this afternoon about 2 o'clock, and then we couldn't meet our Airbnb until about 4. And kind of had a tough time getting a hold of the host.
So we drank some drinks for a couple hours.
Mm-hmm.
I ate some tomatoes and mozzarella and
Mm-hmm.
chilled. And by chilled, I mean sat and sweat with our luggage surrounding us.
Mm-hmm.
And then we stood in the sun so that we'd be very easy to find because the host was going to meet us and walk us to the Airbnb.
But actually wasn't there waiting for us like they said he was going to be. And then when we arrived at our Airbnb, it wasn't ready for us like they said it was going to be, and made small talk with the guy. But anyway, we're now on our way to dinner. We just went swimming in the sea. What sea is it? It's not the Aegean Sea. It's not the Mediterranean. Is it?
Atlantic Ocean, I think.
I think it's the Mediterranean Sea.
No.
And we saw some cool fishes. We saw a jellyfish. We saw a lot of other people doing really high cliff dives. And now we're taking.
We bought goggles.
We bought goggles.
Snorkel.
It was the advice of the day. So now we're heading to dinner, and then we'll do a proper update on the whole day in just a couple hours. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
This is a continuation of our day 8 honeymoon recap. We give you a brief overview of what the day looked like today. But
we went on a walk, we saw the view, and then we went out to a very interesting dinner.
Yeah, we went to dinner. So here in Manarola, the population is about 300. 300. Yeah, he said like 280. And so mostly tourist driven, but there is about 4 or 5 restaurants in this little village. So we went to a seafood restaurant. It's the only kind of food that we haven't really had an opportunity to have yet, and we've been craving it now that we're here on the coast. So we went to this little spot. It was actually really beautiful. It's like a little pergola. It was totally open air.
It's cute. It's actually the same spot that we had lunch, but it's the
same restaurant.
For their lunch, you can sit inside or just like right outside of the building. For dinner, there's like this big pergola covered space
On a plaza that's elevated.
And so it's just like almost a circle of just open air, and servers come in and serve all the tables. And so it was just like nice and breezy and beautiful, and we were outside feeling but covered in case of weather. So just a really neat concept.
Yeah, so we sat down and they were very busy, and they had one item on their appetizer menu. It was just called the starter course or whatever it was called. And we're like, okay, it's like a little bit of maybe everything, or just like a small, like accoutrement of like
combo platter.
Yeah,
maybe.
Sure. Not the case. They brought out 6 courses of different kinds of fish prepared different ways.
Arguably some bigger than a tasting menu, like a dish.
So the first dish that we got was just anchovies and butter, which was strange.
It was really, really pretty. The saltiest thing I've ever tasted.
It was very salty.
Like a salt lick for a human.
Bread wasn't served with it, but we just had bread on the table, so we ate it on bread and just pretended that the butter was super salty. Grace later stacked 2 empty plates on
Here's
top of
the
each
thing,
other and
they
hid
would-
her anchovies in between.
They
so
brought
that,
us 6 courses, but they brought us like 3 at a time.
yeah.
So then we're like eating, we have a stack of dirty plates, and so I just snuck my anchovies in between the plates.
The next course was a little crostini with
Like a tomato.
tomato braised octopuses, like a little baby octopus. And Grace doesn't like to call them baby octopuses. She likes to call them little octopuses, but
They're small
we all
octopuses.
know that they're baby octopuses.
They're just small. They're just petite octopuses.
And that was actually pretty good. I enjoyed that. Grace, not so much.
Yeah, tomatoey. No, I liked it. I just don't like calling them babies.
Anyway, our next course then was octopus salad, and it was like
It
kind
was
of
like a big octopus chopped up into pieces, so it was like cheese stick like pieces.
Yeah. And so it was like tentacle and potato and tomato and asparagus, kind of served like a cold rustic mashed potato.
And we've been
or
told
like a potato salad, I mean.
That's kind of like a regional popular regional dish. And the guy who checked us into our Airbnb was like, that's his favorite food. Okay. Tried it. It's mild, it's fine. It's a little weird, but
honestly, we saved some of it in case the rest of our stuff was gross. And then the next 3 courses came. We got
a piece of fried fish, like pan fried.
I think they call it fried black cod or something like that. It was kind of an oxymoron.
Like a creamy sauce.
House-made mayonnaise is what he called it. So just imagine that.
It was good. It was fried fish and tartar sauce. It was lovely. That one was pretty much 2 bites. Done.
Yeah, that's like our comfort zone. And then we had... What was next? Oh, we had caramelized red onions with a shrimp served on top. Finished with some almonds, and that seemed like a weird combination, but it just tasted like caramelized onions and shrimp. And then the last one were these very specific types of prawn I've seen before on like National Geographic, but they have one strong arm, and they use it to like break clams open and stuff like that.
The size of crawdads, but like skinnier.
Yeah, it was probably 6 or 7 or 8 inches long, and I don't know, probably about the size of your thumb, maybe a little bit bigger, but
we tried to eat those, and
eat them, and then they were full shell on, and they split the tail like a lobster. So we're like, well, it's obvious we're supposed to eat the tail, so we flipped it over, and then the shell was much thicker than anything that we've seen before, and so we had to really rip it open, and then found out it wasn't deveined, and so we're kind of... It was a little bit of an interesting experience.
It was messy.
I know that we're like supposed to suck the brains out of the head. Not gonna happen. And then we're like, well, we better eat this giant claw.
Just pretend it's not a head. And then I open it and I'm like, no.
Can't do it.
Okay, we're done. We're done with this course.
So then we tried to eat its little claw, and then we couldn't get the meat out, and so actually what Grace did was take parts of its own claw to try to eat out certain parts of it. It's a pretty classic move, definitely utilitarian, pretty smart and beautiful. And then we actually got to the courses that we ordered, which were like I think you had like a squid ink pasta.
Yeah, I had a black
Taleggio?
No.
Okay.
I had a black noodle and a buffalo cream or buffalo cheese and tuna tartare. And honestly, sounded really exotic and fun. It was like the cheese was kind of chunky, is like cottage cheese-esque, which I love. It was great. But it just like wasn't a sauce. It wasn't binding to the noodles. And it was just served like pile of noodles, cheese, pile of tartare. And so then I just had these things that I was trying to mix together. They didn't really go together, and they didn't really stick together, and it was fine.
I had fried calamari, prawns, octopus, and
Nick's-
vegetables, and I thought it would be like pan fried, but it was deep fried. It was a pile of deep fried things.
Stuff. It was like
And
shell on shrimp, deep fried, which then it's like, what do you do with that? Do you peel all the fried stuff off and the shell off to eat it? Or
so I tried to eat it with the shell on, and then it just
I
like
was like, just eat it with the shell on.
picking
See what
shell
it's
out of my
like.
mouth because it doesn't break up, and you only cook it when you deep fry it for like 3 minutes. So it was weird. And then we finished with we drank a little bit of wine. And then we had some limoncello, which happened to be on the house, and some panna cotta, which was a little bit strange, but also okay.
Very flan-esque. We had
Very
flan for
flan-esque.
dessert.
And we took a small walk to a nearby convenience store to buy giant waters. Look at that thing. Because we're severely dehydrated. You can see we got a little bit. I'm severely dehydrated.
I'm fine.
We spent all day out in the sun. We got a little bit of color. We plan on doing it again tomorrow. I have the most destroyed feet of all time from the reef that we were on. Grace is fine.
He bled through his socks a little bit.
I bled through my socks. I sliced my shit up. And
it's not just like scrapes. It's like you walked on knives. Like he's got deep cuts.
I didn't really do or slip that much or like do anything. I think the reefs are just really sharp. And some of like the little rocks and critters on there are really sharp. And so I think that we're going to have to go full on 10-year-old kid at the public pool mode and get some swim shoes. And we already bought goggles and a snorkel. And honestly, the snorkel was clutch.
The snorkel is awesome. The sea is so warm and salty, and I just feel like it can just like blissfully float on top.
And it's full of life. There's fish everywhere. They're swimming so close to the shore. The coral is really cool. You can like, there's little pockets and islands of stuff that you can like stand on and chill. And there's people doing cliff jumps from like 30 feet up.
I do, not to take away your wind, but the coral is not very cool.
It's super awesome.
It's just like,
It's like pretty.
it's barnacles on the rocks, but there might be some technical coral in there, but it's very desolate looking at first glance. You'd be like, oh, why would I snorkel this area? Like, it's just deep water on the side of a cliff with some like hairy cliff parts. But when the water calms and you like take your time to swim around, there are cool fish. There are some cool
fish.
things. Lots of life to look at. We saw a couple different jellyfish that had
We saw
different
some
designs.
big fish. We saw, and it's like schools of fish like swimming through and like a thing, eating off the rock. And for having that many people in that kind of small area, I was just surprised.
It was really fun. I'm excited to go tomorrow.
We're excited to go tomorrow. We go kayaking tomorrow on the ocean from Rio Maggiore, I think, to one of the other towns. And it's going to be great. We're really excited. So, yeah.
Also, this is my formal apology to Nick for saying that he didn't know what he was talking about in our last video, because I thought we booked an Airbnb in Rio Maggiore. As you have seen, we did not. We booked kayaking in Rio Maggiore, so we're not staying there.
We'll have to take a train back to Rio Maggiore, which is okay. It's about 2 minutes away. I think they're also about a 10-minute walk from each other. We can see all of the other towns from where we're staying. And where we're staying is beautiful. It is awesome.
Wonderful.
So we're excited. We're having a good time. We're sad we have to come home soon, but
we're ending on a good one. It's nice, and it's been hot everywhere, but finally there's that like release of getting to play in the water. Whereas in the other place, it was like the only release was just going back to the apartment and taking a shower. But now we can like
and the scooter.
Play. And the scooter.
The scooter.
R.I.P. the scooter.
R.I.P. the scooter. Okay, guys, that's all we've got. Bye. See ya.